Has everyone gotten a raffle ticket thus far? I see some people just walked in.
Can everyone hear me? Okay, there you go. Okay. When I'm done, I will get you a raffle ticket. Anyone else who hasn't gotten a raffle ticket, just grab me when I'm done up here. A couple things to point out, just be aware of where the exits are. And please silence your cell phones, but everything else is fine. Yes, that's perfectly acceptable. I just want to thank the friends. Our library friends group has provided us with one of our raffle prizes. And now I'm going to turn it over to our public information officer and Dr. Who fan Bob Boston.
Thank you very much. It's great to see so many Whovians from the area. You can silence your phones, but don't silence your sonic screwdrivers. How many people brought their sonic screwdrivers? Unfortunately, I didn't realize that even the doctor didn't have to use a regular screwdriver to put batteries into a sonic screwdriver. So mine doesn't make noise, but everybody else has noise. Let's just make noise for just a second, everyone. That's good. All right, that sets the good tone here. Because, as we all know, in a few days, there's going to be a huge milestone event coming up, and that is the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. And it's pretty amazing considering Doctor Who's beginnings, being a children's program in England with a very small budget, produced by a woman in England who at that time, that wasn't really the norm, Verity Lambert. And it just blossomed into an incredible saga that even goes beyond, before Star Trek, before Lost in Space, before so many other shows, there was Doctor Who, and it's become a worldwide phenomenon. I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit beyond my unfortunate role as Public Information Officer. I am the head of the USS Challenger, a chapter of Starfleet, a Star Trek fan association. And you might wonder, well, what's this guy, who usually hangs out in Star Trek uniforms with phasers, trading up with sonic screwdrivers? Well, I've always seen science fiction as ice cream. And by that I mean we all like different flavors. And Doctor Who is definitely one of my favorite sagas in science fiction. And it couldn't be more different than Star Trek. It's not about a military exploration group, but it is about an eccentric alien who travels in time and space and loves to interfere with things. There's no prime directive in Doctor Who. He'll dabble just for the sheer fun of it, but always doing good and fighting the bad guys. Whether they're human, alien, some kind of monster, or some creatures like this. So, I'll tell you a little bit about how I fell in love with Doctor Who as a program. I go back to the days when Tom Baker, his episodes appeared on WOR, Channel 9, New York, on Saturday mornings. And I heard all about the show and thought, oh my God, it's got cheap effects, it's British. My first episode, like most who liked Tom Baker, was Robot, the clunky little robot, giant robot. And yet I fell in love with it because it had that British charm. It was quirky, it was different, and because you knew that other episodes had been made in England already and that they were trickling over to the United States, you knew that you wouldn't have to get vested in it and think, oh, it's going to be canceled, because you knew there was a whole bunch of other seasons heading your way. So I just couldn't get enough of Doctor Who, and I couldn't wait for WR to get the next seasons, with Leela, who I especially liked. I'm not going to mention why. Then eventually Doctor Who became more into the norm. big conventions were held in Chicago and Philadelphia. In fact, there were more Doctor Who conventions in Philadelphia than there were Star Trek conventions for a while in the mid-'80s and into like the '90s. You know, although getting merchandise, I mean, now we could go to Hot Topic and pick up some things, but back then it was like few and far between. You'd have to go to conventions. So let's just review. I know we're all mostly fans here, but this is a celebration, so let's review all the Doctors. Some clips of each one that made them all a bit special. And of course, starting off with the first, William Hartnell.
Sorry, folks. It would help if I turn the speaker on.
I could hymn the theme, but I don't know if you want me to do.
Susan and I have cut off from our own planet without friends or attention. One day, time doesn't go round and round in circles. You can't get on and off whenever you like in the past or the future. The doctors put us down right in the middle of the French Revolution. Started out as a mild curiosity in the jungle. Now it's turned out to be like a great student.
First up, most of his stories were very set in historic settings, but it started to set the pace for the show. And later on, in about three years or so, William Hartnell fell ill, and unfortunately, he couldn't really continue in the part. And that's when a very interesting thing happened. Most TV shows would have simply recast him since the show was successful and they wanted to go on. Most shows would have probably recast someone very similar. Maybe an actor who looked like him, or maybe explained a little difference in opinion in some way, appearance in some way. But they decided to do something very, very different, and something that I think led to Doctor Who's longevity. And that was recasting the part completely different. Through use of simple alien regeneration. This way they didn't need to go and go back. They could set a whole fresh pace and with a whole different character and actor. And that's when we got Patrick Troughton. Patrick Troughton was totally different from the grandfatherly, little irascible doctor. He was a clown. Although brilliant, and you never, in a Columbo-ish like way.
How nice to see you again, Doctor.
I don't think things out so.
Millions of planets, years of time, countless civilizations to meet. serve the evil in the galaxy. I have been fighting against it.
I had the privilege of meeting and interviewing Patrick Troughton years ago, and he couldn't have been the nicest guy. He was very unassuming. He loved conventions. He loved meeting fans. He would do a lot of comical antics, and some conventions would not only have forums where you would meet them and they would talk, but they would do like little dinner shows afterwards where they do skits and comedy routines, and Patrick was just fantastic at that. When I talked to him, he talked to me about his home life, his little dogs and everything, so he was just such a nice man. But Patrick's doctor was, as you saw, a bit comical. You wouldn't realize that he would be smart enough to figure out what to do and at the last minute come up with a conclusion. He would usually be running from the enemy, not running towards it. So the next doctor, they decided to change things completely and created a man of action. And that's where we got Jonathan Pertwee, who was exiled to Earth. At the time, for budgetary reasons, they decided, it would be easier to have him on Earth, and that's where we got one of the best parts of Doctor Who, to be created unit. And I think Jonathan Pertwee was like one of the best doctors.
I am usually referred to as the Master. Oh, is that so? Universally.
Trip to the stars, when Beltane's come tread softly. For lo, the prince himself is nigh, darker, the horned beast.
Just be right. I know who is this.
Hello, Christmas. Right on the steps. What about you?
Master.
This is always more frightening when it strikes interesting.
It's already under control. 5 minutes.
I will be destroying Exos for Exos destroys the world. Which should we begin? This planet of yours will be the center of a mighty empire, the greatest the cosmos has ever known.
Seems like some kind of a galactic hero. I refuse to be worshipped by a renegade and the master. We are asleep together. Or we die.
As you saw, Jonathan Pertwee's Doctor was the first in color, which of course we take that for granted now, but that was a big deal, and introduced Roger Delgado as the first Master, who, much like the Thor movie with Loki stealing the show, Roger Delgado was just an awesome enemy. But we'll get to enemies later. Now we come forward to the Doctor that is most identifiable to U.S. audiences, and that's that's Tom Baker, the eccentric. See, I'm not the only Tom Baker, I think, really helped to bring Doctor Who popularity to the United States. Just he came at the right time. Not to say that the others were certainly, not as talented, but Tom Baker just stole the show and was so different. So you never knew what he was going to do, because usually he didn't know what he was going to do. And Tom Baker was very much that character. He said on numerous interviews he wasn't really acting. So and he was on the show for the longest period of time, 7 years, and had a great number of interesting companions. So we'll go with a little look at Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor.
Hey, Tommy.
Special case, you enjoy the freedom we allow you in return on occasion, not continually. We ask you to do something for us. Whatever it is, I refuse to balance.
Is a perfect human which maintains the equilibrium of time.
Someone's in trouble. Who knows? Stand by for emergency materializes. Or just a pathetic bunch of tin cylinders coming about the gangs of an ancient spaceship.
Interesting to note the Doctor even became the president of Gallifrey during his run. But after 7 seasons, he hung up his scarf, and we were going into the 80s, and it was time for a fresh face, and more innocent face, and a much younger, the youngest Doctor for that time period, and we got Peter Davison.
Welcome aboard. I'm the Doctor. A man who is the sum of his memories, you know, at the time or even more so. Your Majesty seems to move forward. Welcome aboard, Freddy. Read it, Alistair Gordon Lethbridge. Well, I've lived a long time in this return. I think that's to be spectacular.
sorry that I couldn't show some of those videos from the show that I was involved in. Unfortunately, thanks to Sandy, those were destroyed. But Peter Davison was, may not have been my favorite doctor, but he was one of the nicest actors to me who played the doctor. But again, like Patrick, very personable, very unassuming, and just always willing to spend some time with fans and to share a few laughs. But Patrick, like Patrick Troughton had once told Peter Davison, you know, stay around 3 seasons, you don't want to be typecast, and unfortunately Peter listened to him, and so he left after 3 seasons, and then producer John Nathan Turner chose Colin Baker, a very colorful doctor, to say the least, as the next doctor, the 6th doctor.
What's the time, probably? Time is going to go down this contract.
Is that bad?
Bad? No. It's disastrous.
The 6th doctor was not exactly bashful.
Is the real Your doctor is an antediluvian parody.
The Cybermen will not leave us.
I got a chance to meet Colin Baker at a convention called Whovent 86, which is sad because I know some people sitting here weren't even born then, so I feel old. But it was also the weekend of the Hands Across America campaign, for those that remember that, and that was a fundraiser, a big one. And it was the one time where an event bigger than the convention itself kind of took over. And Colin and Louise Jameson, who played Leela, and Lala Ward, who played the 2nd Romana, all the main guests left the convention with the rest of the crowd from the convention. We went out to the street. This was held in North Jersey, New Brunswick, maybe around that area. And we all held hands, and Colin Baker sang "We Are the World," much to everyone's shock. Colin, great guy, very gregarious person, very fun, not a great singer. But it was a really cool experience because, you know, usually you go to conventions and go to the dealer drinks and the guests and get autographs, but this was an event that was bigger than the convention itself, and they all became a part of it, so. Let's see. Yeah, that brings us up to Sylvester McCoy, one of my favorite doctors. He's also a great guy. starring Sylvester McCoy. Unfortunately, the BBC, in their less than brilliant decision, Doctor Who ended and would be in limbo, although Big Finish, which would create many fantastic audio stories involving living doctors of that time, they produced some really great stories, and Sylvester McCoy's adventures continued in that way, along with a host of books. But it wasn't until 1996 that Fox TV brought Doctor Who back. Now, some of you may not have appreciated that movie, but I think Paul McGann would have made an interesting Doctor had they continued that and maybe written it better. But here's some scenes from Paul McGann's movie, Doctor Who.
What news of the Doctor?
Disappeared by your president.
We know his intention. He still possesses the moment.
That Paul McGann.
Is it not?
Oh, here he is, there, yeah.
This is the last day. The Gallifrey
The first Doctor to actually kiss a companion, which caused a big controversy. Brings us up to 2005 with the reboot. I shouldn't say reboot, it was a revamp, because unlike some science fiction properties, Doctor Who's continuity just flowed perfectly right into a new age and a whole new generation of fans. And we've got Christopher Eccleston and Rose, who was his companion and who just helped reintroduce a whole new generation to the show. The BBC brought it back with some great special effects and stories, and it was in many ways the Doctor Who that we all kind of hoped could be big earlier.
Is it always the same?
Also, for a truck, we're all fine. After boxes were possible tippers, now they're lying at the
As we all learned, Christmas time in England, not the safest time to be there.
The Daleks have failed! Why don't we finish the job and make the Daleks extinct? Rid the universe of your filth! Why don't you just die?
course, he regenerated. Unfortunately, after one season, he would have been a remarkable doctor for a few more seasons. But that's okay, because I know there's many fans here of David Tennant. Mostly women.
To never let ladies read! We only choose to realize the laws of time in our minds. And they will obey me! Hang on a minute. Who put you in charge? And who the hell are you anyway?
I'm a doctor. I'm a time lord. I killed Barry Gallifrey in the constellation of Castellaris. I'm 903 years old, and I was going to say you are 8.6 billion people on the planet Earth. Is there a problem with that?
No.
In that case, I'll see. Who are you? Oh. Time mentioned.
The doctor that probably had the saddest regeneration was because we actually knew where he was going. He didn't want to go. He wanted to go. But that brings us up to the current doctor, Matt Smith.
We are in deep space. Very, very deep. There's only not
What's the alternative? Me standing over your grave? Over your broken body, over a boring body. I had to die. I didn't have to die alone.
It's called the TARDIS. It can travel anywhere in time and space.
And it's mine.
So,
Where do you want to start?
Inside.
Alright, silence.
We ran from the silence.
Silence. Sometimes just like those words I never realized it was my silence. I did. The doctor will fall.
Matt Smith also has a personality.
You fall home.
It's all still waiting for you. The fields of Trevor and the question.
just remember who's standing in your water. Remember, every blood demand structure.
Passing forest one thing you never ever put in trap. Me.
Mum. I think it's fair to say that I'm moving away. That I live my dream. My own stage. Give it 110%.
We know it doesn't end there. You know, any great hero has to have a great villain, or in the case of Doctor Who, a monster. You know, we could do a whole program on the enemies and monsters of Doctor Who, so we don't have time for that. We're doing that next week. But I narrowed it down to 3 that I think we could probably all agree on. Obviously, the first, in my opinion, the Daleks. Created by Terrence Dicks, who I also got a chance to interview, and he was just a blast too, and just loved creating things that would just kill people. Never grew tired of them, and he even had a plan to bring it into another show that he created in England called Blake 7. But it didn't work out that way, and maybe that was just as well. But the Daleks were not completely robotic, they were completely organic, they were a nice merger of two, they were a little mini battle tank, and you thought that the worst thing that they would face would be a staircase, because they couldn't go upstairs, but of course they did, they didn't get covered, and the second adversary for the Doctor, in my opinion, and long before Star Trek had boards, and long before Arnold Schwarzenegger was killing people as the Terminator, there were Cybermen. And now they evolved over the years, the pipe cleaner type helmets and everything, but they were always terrifying and pretty scary to think of all the organics being swapped out with machines. And, so they were pretty popular. And of course, the third being the opposite of, Sherlock Holmes had Professor Moriarty, and of course the Doctor had the Master. Brilliantly played by Roger Delgado, who you saw in Jonathan Berkeley clip, and then later by Anthony Ainley. But of course, in between was Peter Pratt and Jeffrey Beavers, who played the sort of pretty disfigured master that the fourth Doctor fought. And then, of course, we had Eric Roberts playing him in the 1996 movie, and he was subsequently played by other actors in the new version of Doctor Who. So you can't, you have to have a good background. So the Master, as to who the Master really is, perhaps someday we'll find out. This brings us up to the next Doctor. Oh, actually, before we do that, I just wanted to poll everyone's favorite Doctor. First Doctor, just cheer if you. First Doctor. Oh wow. Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor. Third Doctor. Yay! Fourth Doctor. And the fifth Doctor, who's so sweet. The sixth Doctor, Colin Baker. Okay. That's not surprising. Little error on the arrogant side. The seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. Not even an honorary. The eighth Doctor, Paul McGann. That classic Fox movie. Christopher Eccleston. David Tennant. All right, I think we have a winner here. Oh, no, I know we have one big Matt Smith fan here. All right. Actually, we're going faster than I thought. Oh, no, we're not. I'm sorry. The Doctor, in addition to, of course, needing to have enemies, has to have a companion. And there have been many, many companions. And I think perhaps more controversial than, or more of a question of who your favorite Doctor is who your favorite companion is, because there's so many. We don't have any clips for them, but I just wanted to kind of poll. I think probably a popular one is Sarah Jane Smith, who kind of crossed over first companion of the third Doctor, and obviously spent a long time with the fourth Doctor, and returned in the fifth, the five Doctors. Almost had a spin-off in K9 and Company with K9, and then of course eventually did have her own spin-off, the Sarah Jane Adventures. Sadly, the actress passed away, and that ended her show. But she was very popular. Of course, she was very David Tennant in a very touching episode where she got a new version of K9. So, for me, there was also Leela, the Savage, and of course Rose Tyler. There was Jamie the Highlander, one of the most unique companions in that he was more of the buddy type. He was a guy, and he was like the main companion for the second Doctor. There was Sweet Joe Grant for the third Doctor, and the actress who played her had very bad eyesight and had to be coached a bit, during shooting, but was she got along quite well with Jonathan Berkeley. We have Adric, Remember anybody? Did anybody actually like Edric at all? Did anybody shed a tear when he died at the hands of the Cybermen? Does anybody remember who Edric is?
The Wesley Crusher of the...
Yes, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
That was pretty brutal, man.
When he blew up,
That's
I think
harsh.
many fans Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor, was the doctor who traveled with Edric, and even Peter Davison in interviews was pretty much like him to say, yes, thank you, writers, for doing that. So, and we have Amy Pond, K9. K9 was very popular, even though it wasn't human. But companions have been a very important part of the show because they remind us that the Doctor is an alien and he reacts differently. And you have your human to sort of set him straight most of the time, or fall in love with him. So, well, coming up, of course, in a few days, the Day of the Doctor, where they will apparently attempt to answer the question of who is the Doctor. We know that they're going to fill in the gap, the mystery that started with the first episode of the revamp, with the episode Rose, of the Time War. It's been explained that the Doctor is on his own, that he lost his people, that the Daleks were destroyed, but of course we know neither of that was the case. Timothy Dalton, James Bond fame, came back as a Time Lord. We know the Time Lords are completely gone, the Master returned, but the whole mystery of what happened during the Time War is yet to be explained, and apparently we're going to learn a whole lot more for the Day of the Doctor, which is going to involve David Tennant and Matt Smith together. So we will take a glimpse of that trailer. We'll go with the trailer first, and then we'll hit Night of the Doctor. Just to get everybody excited. Sonic screwdriver quite like that. So
You just came out to that.
now I don't know how many people have seen this mini episode, Night of the Doctor, which I was very excited to see earlier this week, featuring Paul McGann in his second screen appearance as the Doctor. This is sets up the scene for Day of the Doctor.
Help me, please. Can anybody hear me? Peter, that's crashing. Don't get a doctor.
Please stay with you. Symptoms will help us provide the medical practitioner appropriate to individual needs.
I'm trying to send you express signals. Stop talking about doctors.
A doctor? But probably not the one you expect. Come on, you love it.
TARDIS!
Yes, but you'll be perfectly safe.
Don't touch me!
I'm not part of the war. I swear to you, I never was.
You were a Time Lord.
Yes, I'm a Time Lord, but I'm one of the nice
Get
ones.
away from me!
Well, on the bright side, I'm not a Dalek.
Who can tell the difference anymore? It's deadlocked. Don't even try.
Cassie, open the door. I'm trying to help.
Go back to your battlefield. You're really dead. Some of the universe is still standing.
I'm not leaving this ship without you.
We picked up right there. Best news of the day.
Yes, yes.
And here is at last the man to end it all. My sisters, the doctor has returned to Khan. We have always known in our bones that one day he would return again. Such a pity he's dead. If you refer to your companion, you're still attempting to extract it from the wreckage.
She wasn't looking bad.
She's almost certainly dead. No one could survive that cold.
I did.
No. We restored you to life, but it's a temporary measure. You have only under 4 minutes.
4 minutes? That's ages. What do I get bored? I need a television, a couple of books, any other chess bringing it in.
And you're so little breath left. Spend it wisely.
Hang on. Is it you? I'm not going to come. You're the sisterhood of Khan. Keepers of the flame of utter war.
Eternal life.
That's the one.
Mock it if you will. But our elixir can trigger your regeneration. Bring you back. Time Lord science is elevated here on Khan. The change doesn't have to be random. Battlefield. Young or old. Man or woman.
Why would you do this to me?
You have helped us in the past.
You would have little gratitude.
The war between the Daleks and the Time Lords threatens all reality. You are the only hope left.
It's not my war. I don't have no part of it.
You can't ignore it forever.
I help where I can, I will not fight.
Because you are the good man, as you call yourself.
I call myself the Doctor.
It's the same thing in your mind.
I'd like to think so.
In that case, Doctor, attend your patient. You're wasting your time. She is beyond even our help.
She wanted to see the universe.
She did this much. It's very nearly over. And she was wiser than you. She understood there was no escape from the Time War. You are a part of this, Doctor. Whether you like it or not.
I'd rather die.
You're dead already. How many more will you let join you? If she could speak, what would she say?
To me, nothing. Another Time Lord. Everything she despised.
Shh, beg your help. Must we beg your help now? The universe stands on the ring. What are you waiting for? Fast or strong? Wise or angry? What do you need now?
Warrior.
Warrior?
I don't suppose there's any need for a doctor anymore. Make me a warrior now.
I took the liberty of preparing this for myself.
Get out! Get out! All of you. Would it hurt?
Yes.
Shall I carry as Lucy Townsend my friends, companions of another suit you? Kiss and broad your eyes. Physician healers.
throws the whole numbering thing out the window in a way. Thank goodness for the change of name. So we still have doctors in order. I'm curious at this point, what do you expect to see in the new episode with the change of doctors? Rumor is that there's at least one generation that's expected to happen, whether it's going to be John Hurt into Christopher Eccleston, we don't know. Tom Baker has said that he's going to be in it, but then they all may be in it through old footage, or maybe guest appearances, we don't know. They've kept it very much under wraps. So, what actually would you like to see? Anybody? What do you think, Annie?
I don't know, with Stephen Moffat, it's very hard to predict. We don't know what's going on.
I know you must have an opinion.
I'd like to know whatever happened with Susan. You know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Betsy?
He had a granddaughter.
Yeah, Susan.
What children did he have? Where did the granddaughter come from?
That's a good point. And she was from Gallifrey, you know. Was she destroyed during the time? Killed during the time?
Are there
Or did she
other
survive?
children?
I mean, 1,000 years, who knows how many kids the doctor might have? Could have a whole army. Anybody else have a particular? Anybody else have particular ideas?
I think they're going to bring back Jenny from when he got combed, and maybe even explain the meta-crisis doctor. What happens, when these two of them, Rose.
Well, we know Rose and the 10th Doctor are going to be in it. Of course, we don't know which doctor, which of the 10th Doctors. It could be the clone doctor. That's a good one. I thought of that too. So we will all be surprised. I think they kept it really under wraps, and they have some really big surprises. And it's obviously going to involve the Time Lords and the Time War and the Daleks. And hopefully it will be the story that we really wanted to see. Now, after this story will come the 12th Doctor, come Christmas time. Again, the producers don't seem to really like Christmas much. But it could be a very good story that we will then see the newest Doctor. But before that, on Friday, will be the bio movie that will go behind the scenes, and it's going to be on BBC America on 9 o'clock, I believe, on Friday. And it will take a look at how the real life background of how the show came together, with absolutely spot on casting. If you look at the actors who's playing William Hartnell and all of them, just take a look.
We want to do a science fiction series.
C.S. Lewis meets H.G. Wells meets Father Christmas. That's the Doctor.
Doctor Who? You're not suspect.
Who's got that line?
No one ever goes away. Can't have Doctor Who without Doctor Who. Travel back to the birth of a phenomenon. An adventure in space and time on BBC Two and BBC Two HD.
It's interesting. The casting fit. I had to look twice to make sure it wasn't William Hartnell. Well, what do we all think of the casting of Peter Capaldi as the next Doctor? He will be showing up in the Christmas special. I'm sure Matt Smith fans will mourn him. But what do we think of the casting? There were a lot of different rumors during the last year.
It'll be interesting because the Doctors have been trending younger. I believe he is only a few months younger than William Hartnell was when he first started playing the Doctor.
Yes. Yeah, I'm personally glad to see an older Doctor, because I think they needed to have a change. Plus, for some of us older people, we would like to see that. So, Clara will remain the companion. That should be interesting. And there's been really very little rumor of what type of Doctor he'll be, as far as costume and attitude. But should prove to be interesting. Do we have any opinions here on what you'd like to see the newest Doctor to be like?
Sam and I were talking about comparing the newer doctors with the older doctors, and, you know, is Matt Smith like Patrick Troughton? Is Christopher Eccleston like William Hartnell? And will the new one be the John Pertwee, the little James Bondian, sort of elegant adventure guy? You know, John Pertwee never saw anything with wheels that he didn't want to get into and drive around and wreck. And I'm kind of hoping for that kind of elegance a little.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. That would be very, the Whomobile, you know, these classic cars.
One rumor I did hear, since Peter Capaldi is Scottish, that they're going to let him speak in his Scottish burr. I do not know if that's true.
Well, we've had that before, so that would be pretty cool.
Well, David Tennant was Scottish.
Exactly. And Sylvester McCoy. All right, well, I want to remind everyone that the library here has a good number of Doctor Who novels, audiobooks, e-readers, and of course DVDs. So, you know, if your Doctor Who fix isn't enough, please make sure you visit the library. I also invite you to pick up a flyer if you haven't done so. USS Challenger meets every first Sunday of the month, 1 o'clock at the Seaside Heights Community Center. We're into more than just Star Trek and Doctor Who. We're into all kinds of things, especially eating. We've got an intergalactic food fest coming up in March, and it's open to the public. Oh, of course, in our holiday gathering at the community center is a cookie fest, so we just fill up on cookies and eat pizza. Again, food is a big part of what we do. And we have a raffle going. Yes? What? Yes, you know, I have to say, I deliberately, I guess I wanted to forget the Peter Cushing movies, because they really weren't part of the Doctor Who canon, but
I guess I'll have to
in the
send it
1960s, England, BBC decided to make a big screen Doctor Who movie with Peter Cushing, which was totally ridiculous, and really, as great as Peter Cushing was, it was bad. The second movie featured the Daleks. Of course, that was interesting. And don't listen. Remember? I think you're thinking of At the Earth's Core.
Yeah.
No.
They were together for that movie, as was Carol Monroe was in it. But I remember.
Because I remember him saying, "No, the Doctor."
Well, Peter Cushing played a Doctor in a lot of movies. Yeah. But I seem to remember an Edgar Rice Burroughs-based movie with Doug McClure, Carolyn Monroe, Peter Cushing, and he was facing an enemy, and this alien-like race was hypnotizing him, and he said, of course, you can't hypnotize me, I'm British. He promptly passed out and was mesmerized and didn't have it.
I just remember him saying on the dog.
Okay.
I was wondering, that movie they showed with the Eighth Doctor that was on there, is Christopher Eccleston in that? No. They had him appear at night scenes.
No, they took some random clips. Yeah, that the Time War, I think that was a lot of fans who really had a lot of hopes on filling in the gap of the Time War, because feeling that the 8th and the 9th Doctor, we never got to see the regeneration. We never got to see Christopher Eccleston regenerate into Christopher Eccleston. So I think there was a lot of hopes on the fans. And I think that might have been also been based on the fact that Romana, in the Big Finish audio novels, programs, Romana actually became the president of Gallifrey. So they wanted to throw all those things together. You know, the Time War, maybe she was the president during the time of the Time War, you know, all of that. So I think that's where that came from.
not true, but I have.
Yeah.
They're just gonna show up.
There was a comic book where Star Trek, even the Star Trek universe is two different universes at this point in time. I think throwing the Whoverse in with it, I think that would blow our minds. And I'm gotta be the biggest fan of both of those genres. You know. And then let's throw Star Wars in and Battlestar Galactica all over it too. I think the rights and Hollywood just would not let that happen.
There's a wonderful Star Trek novel called Ishmael that was based on a fan novel, and she sold it to Del Rey, or Valentine, excuse me, who didn't know it started as fan fiction. And they didn't pick up that not only was it based on Here Comes the Brides and Star Trek, but at some point, Doctor Who shows up. He's not named, but he's distinctly there at the bar with the boys from Bonanza.
Yes.
So, if you want to have a really fun read, even if you don't remember Here Comes the Bride, and why that guy who looked a lot like Sarek is in it, and why Spock did a double take when he saw Aaron Semple, I recommend Ishmael, and there is just a tiny little Doctor Who appearance.
That is cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm the president of the Pridonians of Princeton, which is another Central Jersey science fiction club. We meet usually the first Saturday of the month in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. We have a monthly newsletter, and we have flyers over there if anybody's interested in joining.
There's a lot of Doctor Who fans out there, which is good to see. Yep.
The more recent episode, Journey to the Center of Stars, there's a book about who would have written that, but the Doctor doesn't write books.
That's a good point. Another mystery to be solved.
And it was tweetable, so it wasn't going to get printed.
Rassilon, Timothy Dalton's character. This young man over here is eating jelly beans. I'll do it for him. Why not? Those are good. I was looking for those. I wanted to bring some here too.
Tea shop and UK store. They actually have I was talking to them for a half hour on Monday, and they actually have a supply from UK.
Very good. And delicious.
I bought like 4 bags.
Well, we got a couple more questions.
I just want to say that watching some of the previews, you can tell that most likely you're not the metaphysics doctor, because in one of the previews, you can see Matt Smith. He says that how he remembers it.
That's right.
So he wouldn't remember it if it was the metaphysics doctor.
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember hearing that.
People are saying how they don't know how the Doctor has a granddaughter when in the David Tennant episode he accidentally creates a daughter that was generated from a war machine, so it could be her daughter because she wanted to travel the universe and she might have ended up on the outfit.
That's a very good point. And as I think we know, David Tennant actually marries her in real life and ends up having as a father-in-law Peter Davison. If that's not intergalactically incestuous, I don't know what is. But it's got to be really cool sitting around the table with your, So when you had a job, can you imagine the debates?
Yes, the actress. In real life,
powers to, with generation powers, to heal one of his companions' wrist. Would that infect one of his generations?
I think it would deplete some of his energy, but I don't think it was enough. I don't think so. Yeah. We'll see how huge it is, unfortunately. Well, we have 2 prizes, and I really want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Oh, and for those who just came in, well, thank you for coming too. Oh, did anybody here not get a raffle ticket? Because we have 2. We have a gentleman over here. Good to see you. We have 2 prizes. One is a ticket to see the Day of the Doctor at the Seaport Pavilion Theater in Toms River. It is the 7 o'clock showing. I'm sorry, 7:30. We get there at 7 o'clock. There's some other items from the library in the back as well. The second prize, well, that's a mystery. Whoever wins will have to hold it up. It could be dangerous, that's all I'm going to say. The first one is for the movie ticket to see the Day of the Doctor, which you can obviously see free on BBC America around 2. But why, when you get a free ticket, see it in 3D? This is a 3D on big screen. And for the 50th anniversary, $15 value, but free if you get your number there. This is the Monday show.
It's only for one showing on Monday.
And if you already have a ticket, give it to a friend. Okay, here we go. Everybody pull out your raffle tickets. Let's see. Gotta pull out one.
It's
Number 8. As in Paul McGann. Oh! I'm glad he pulled it. I don't know that one. Congratulations, Joe. And since I did buy a ticket, if you needed somebody to go see it with, second prize. By the way, big applause here for Matt Goldberg, who helped me, who has been bombarded with emails from me for months of like, ooh, look at this clip, let's do this, let's do that. And that's before I even got the job here. Matt is fantastic, I very much appreciate all your help.
Number 3.
Number 3. Oh!
You don't know him either.
It's something blue.
Well, let's see. Now all eyes are on. Well, no, that's not the only one. That's one of our wonderful Ocean County Library ice scrapers, and then there's.
Oh, I thought it was hair gel.
This is the key ring. Oh, little vinyl figurine, multi-purpose. Oh, yes, cool.
Well, you can open it up.
So, go to the side, the Swiss Army knife will do just fine. There we go.
Whatever you do, don't cut yourself.
There we go. Oh, it's fantastic, look.
Look at that. An empty plastic bag. We spared no expense.
Dangerous.
Exterminate, exterminate. There's actual pieces in to put on it that I saw, but that's okay. Just don't lose it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I'm glad to see, again, so many Doctor Who fans. Obviously, don't forget to watch on Saturday. And if you want to share what you, whether you liked it or not, you can stop by the Mrs. Film meeting. Next one. Take care, guys.